Welcome to the Michigan State University Science Festival. I'm Roxanne Truen, the coordinator of the festival, and tonight I'm so pleased that we are joined by Rebecca Morningstar from the education team of the Potter Park Zoo, and she's going to take us on what a day looks like at the zoo. So take it away, Rebecca.
Hi, thanks, Roxanne. So since it's evening and most of our staff has gone home and it's a warm day and most of our animals are sleeping today because it's so warm, we decided it would be better to take you on a video tour of what happens during the day. That way we can see what happens in the morning and the middle of the day as well, not just what's going on right now. So I'm going to be playing a video for you that goes through some of the great care our animals receive every day and some of the fun things our animal care staff gets to do. And then we will be on with a couple of staff members and hopefully a special animal guest at the end of the video to answer some questions that you guys might have. So let me just get the video pulled up here. And we should be ready to go. Welcome to Potter Park Zoo. Since we can't bring all of you to the zoo today, we decided we would bring the zoo to you instead. We're going to be taking you behind the scenes and checking in with a few of our zoo experts to see some of the amazing things that are happening here every day. Morning starts early here at Potter Park Zoo. Many of our animals are up before the sun, and our staff gets here bright and early too. One of the very first things our animal care staff do every single day is check to make sure that everyone is safe, sound, happy, and healthy. Ensuring that the animals are happy and healthy are key parts of providing them with excellent welfare, which is our #1 priority at Potter Park Zoo. Here to tell us a little bit more about animal welfare is our Animal Programs Manager, Sarah.
Hello everybody, my name is Sarah. I'm the Animal Programs Manager here at Potter Park Zoo. My job is pretty varied. I do a lot of different things, but one big aspect is managing our animal welfare program. Animal welfare refers to an animal's collective physical and mental states over a period of time and measured on a continuum from good to poor. So just like we can't have a wonderful day every day, sometimes animals will have a bad day too, but the goal is to always be striving to give them the best possible day. So we look at a lot of different things. We look at nutrition, we look at their housing, we look at the other animals they may live with, whether that's a different species or members of the same species. And we are constantly tweaking things basically to try and do our best for the animals. Our keepers do several different kinds of welfare assessments. Every animal in the zoo gets assessed at least twice a year. And then sometimes if an animal is sick or if there's been a change, maybe it's getting older, maybe it has a new roommate, we might do assessments then as well to kind of see what the new normal is. So we can continually monitor an animal throughout the extent of its whole life. That is the goal. From infancy, if they're born here, until old age. We are constantly striving to give our animals the best welfare possible. In addition to our twice yearly welfare assessments, our animals are actually given a welfare assessment every day by their keepers. When a keeper comes in the morning and throughout the day, they're looking at the animal's health. They look at the animal's feces. They may see how much an animal has eaten or has not eaten. And these things all go on their daily report. And those are ways that we can keep an eye on an animal. The monitoring isn't just looking at an animal and saying, yes, this is good, no, this is bad, these things need to change. We have to do the second part of that process, which is figuring out what we can do to make those welfare scores improve. So that may mean doing a little bit of research. We may need to talk to SSP advisors or other zoos. We might want to come up with different ways to feed or different opportunities to feed. And so we don't want to just look at welfare as a static thing. It is constantly evolving and constantly changing. So it is something that the zoo has to keep an eye on all the time.
An important part of providing good animal welfare is forming a relationship built on trust and excellent care. So anytime they are working around the animals, our keepers try to make sure that the animals are having a positive experience. Sometimes that means using the animals' natural behaviors to help build trust with them. In this video, zookeeper Annie is building trust with the wolves by engaging in natural play behaviors with them, while staying safely on the opposite side of the fence. While it may look similar to how you might play with your dog at home, it's important to remember that all the animals at the zoo are wild animals. If you think about it, your dog is a direct descendant of the wild wolf, so it makes sense that some of their behaviors would look similar. If you pay close attention, you'll see that Annie is bowing and turning her head or her body away from the wolves. These are examples of body language that wolves will use to communicate to each other that they want to play and that they are not being threatening. Play is one of the ways that wolves build social bonds within a pack, and one of the tools that the zookeepers can use to help build relationships with the animals in their care. Once the keepers have checked on everyone, it's time for breakfast. Breakfast is a complicated affair around the zoo. All of our animals have specially formulated diets planned by the zookeepers and veterinary staff based on the best nutritional research being done at zoos all over the country. Let's check in with zookeeper Liz to learn about how we prep diets for our red pandas.
When I come in the mornings, they've already been fed their bamboo breakfast. So when I come in, I make their mash, I get their morning biscuits ready, I get their biscuits ready for the afternoon, and then I prepare any enrichment. You can do that. Hi, big man. Probably about 81 to 70. Keep track of what all the pandas eat. So we have a consumption chart which lists what we feed and how much we feed of it. When we come in, all we have to do is soak what's in here, but it's 100 grams of the Missouri biscuits, which are the brown biscuits, and then 40 grams of the Marion, which are the red biscuits. And then we soak them and we add 60 grams of applesauce. And we just mix it all up, try to get that applesauce mixed in there. So since we're going to do some training and enrichment today, I'm going to give them about 70 grams each of grapes. In the wild, bamboo would account for about 90 to 95% of what they eat. It might get supplemented with like bugs, eggs, small mammals, birds, nuts, different fruits that they can find. Bamboo is really not nutritious, so they have to eat a lot of it in order to get the nutrients that they need to survive. So bamboo shipped in once a week. And then we also have a couple who actually has a bamboo garden in their backyard, and they have generously offered to let us come and cut for them. Pandas are really expensive to take care of. When you're shipping in bamboo enough to feed 2 pandas, it can cost up to like $500 a week. Being able to cut down on what we're ordering and being able to cut for free is really, really great.
Breakfast is just the beginning of what our animal care staff have to do every single day. Another big part of a day at the zoo is cleaning. And when you have animals the size of Jolly and Dopsy, cleaning is a big job. Let's check in with zookeeper Amy to see how they handle cleaning the rhino yard every day.
Hello, my name is Amy Pierce. I am a livestock keeper here at Potter Park Zoo. So on a typical day, 7 o'clock, we come in and we feed the rhinos. So they get their morning grain and their enrichment in the morning. We let them eat. We go out and clean their exhibits. So that involves picking up their feces, any leftover food, giving them new enrichment. picking up browse, the old branches that we have out there. And then putting out fresh hay and letting them back out into the exhibit. We typically try to get them out before 9 o'clock. Most of the time it works pretty well. So we do that for both groups of rhinos. We put Foxy and Jolly out, and then we put Phineas out after he gets cleaned in the morning. And then, after they're out, we clean our barn. So that involves power washing the stalls, flipping wood chips, draining and refilling their water bowls, and then disinfecting them with a disinfectant. Squeegeeing them and making sure their floors are nice and dry so that they'll keep staying out.
Fortunately for our zookeepers, there's more to their day than just cleaning poop, although there is a lot of poop. Something that most of our animals do every day is training. Just like you might train your dog or cat, we train the animals at the zoo. The main reason for training is that it allows us to take better care of the animals. You'll see in the following video how some of the behaviors that we train with the black rhinos allow us to take better care of them through regular health checks, blood draws, injections, and more. And it's not just the big animals that get trained. Let's join zookeeper Sarah to see training with some of our smallest residents, the cotton-top tamarins.
My name is Sarah Higgins. I am a zookeeper here at Potter Park Zoo. The hardest thing about training the tamarins would be they all want your attention, especially Dad. He can be really, really pushy, and one of the babies has started to have his personality. Even if you're trying to focus on training like Mom for doing her ultrasound stuff, Dad is always right there, or babies are always right there trying to steal rewards and all that sort of thing. The babies, I started training as soon as they were off Mom and Dad and I could get them to come up to me. I want to say that was about 2 months, but I had been working with the parents with the babies on their back since the babies were 5 days old. It was very nice to see that Mom trusted me enough to come up to me and let me look at her babies. As soon as we were like, yep, they are nursing, they're doing okay, I was allowed to go in there and start trying to weigh Mom. With a weight on Mom, we can also guesstimate how much babies weigh without having to take them off Mom. For rewards, we use grapes, raisins, and waxworms. If I keep them going, like keep feeding them, they will, for the most part, they keep their attention on me. They are very flighty, so when you're able to finally get them to calm down, focus on you, and then get the behaviors that you want out of them, it helps them, and then it's just super rewarding.
The excellent training that the animals receive from our zookeepers means that our veterinary staff can do some amazing things with our animals, and our animals will cooperate. In this video, we can see Red Panda Malia letting Dr. Ronan do an ultrasound. She's not pregnant in this video, but if she were, this would allow Dr. Ronan to check on the developing cubs and make sure there weren't any major health concerns. If she hadn't been trained to allow ultrasounds, Malia would have to be put under anesthesia for a procedure like this, which can be dangerous to both mother and baby. The training and trusting relationships that the keepers build with the animals also means that it is much easier for animal care staff to work with baby animals without causing unnecessary stress for their mothers or to help when an animal needs it. With nearly 500 individual animals and over 100 different species to take care of, the veterinarian at the zoo has his work cut out for him. In addition to having to know about so many different species, veterinarians also have to know about a lot of different areas of medicine, including nutrition, dentistry, surgery, breeding and reproduction, and everything else that goes into keeping these animals healthy. And having so many different animals of so many different sizes presents another set of unique challenges. Like, what do you do when a lion needs a root canal? While some parts of a zookeeper's day, like cleaning up after a pair of rhinos, might seem a little boring, other parts are often super fun. For example, all of our animals are provided with enrichment every day. Enrichment is a novel item or stimulus that is provided to allow our animals to show more appropriate species-specific behaviors. For example, in the wild, a mongoose wouldn't be handed a plate of bugs. It would have to find them and figure out how to get them all on its own. Enrichment items allow them to do the same kinds of things here at the zoo. Let's join zookeeper Annie as she prepares some enrichment for our mongoose mob.
Hi there, my name's Annie Markham. I'm part of the animal care staff here at Potter Park Zoo, and today I'm caring for our mongoose. We're getting lunch ready right now. Today we've got some mealworms here for lunch and some paper enrichment items. Paper items help us exhibit our animals' natural behaviors. For the mongoose, that's a lot of digging, ripping, tearing, ways that they would normally acquire their food. The items we have here today are painted in celebration of Autism Awareness Month. These are from our volunteers. Our volunteers regularly help us make fun enrichments for our animals, and they really appreciate it, and we appreciate their support and help. So I'm just going to put some of the mealworms into our paper enrichment items here. Got some bugs. You take a little bit of paper, wrap them up so they don't escape too quickly, and then they go into the different shapes of paper items. And then the mongoose will get to figure out how to open all these fun items. Thank you, volunteers, for making these.
Our mission here at Potter Park Zoo is inspiring conservation of animals and the natural world. That's a big job. And there are a lot of ways we try to achieve our mission every day. One big way that we work towards our mission is by directly participating in conservation projects like the reintroduction of Puerto Rican crested toads into their natural habitat. Puerto Rican crested toads are the only toad species native to Puerto Rico. And for about 35 years, scientists thought that they might be extinct. Their population had gotten so low that people weren't seeing them around anymore. Then, in 1967, scientists found a small group of toads and brought them to the Puerto Rico Zoological Gardens, and the first breeding program was started. Since then, AZA zoos and aquariums have worked together to breed and release tadpoles in the wilds of Puerto Rico. Potter Park Zoo is one of about 20 zoos that participate in this program, and to date, we have sent almost 20,000 tadpoles to Puerto Rico.
Another way that we help promote conservation efforts here at the zoo is by participating in research projects that let us learn more about how to help species both in zoos and in the wild. The rhinos at Potter Park Zoo are currently participating in multiple research projects looking at reproductive and digestive health. In addition to the amazing rhino research being done on grounds, zoo staff are participating in field research here in Michigan involving species like the least shrew, eastern Massasauga rattlesnake, and piping plover. All of this research helps us learn about how to help endangered species right here in our own backyard.
As a neighbor to the Lansing community, we're committed to providing equal access and enjoyment to all through our programming, Zoo in Your Neighborhood and Falconers. Zoo in Your Neighborhood provides free zoo passes to the mid-Michigan area so anyone can come to the zoo for free. Falconers is for those with special needs and unique challenges to come to the zoo in a sensory-friendly environment. Here at the zoo, we have braille maps, power scooters, quiet areas, and sensory bags.
I'm Amy Morris Hall, Executive Director of the Potter Park Zoological Society. Thanks to all of you for your interest in Potter Park Zoo, and we're looking forward to a fantastic future of continued improvement. And we'll be able to do that because of the help from donors like these. So if you have interest in the zoo and you'd like to help us move along, you're welcome to get in touch with us at www.potterparkzoo.org.
All right, so I had to move my camera a little bit because joining us for our Q&A is Jim the rat. He lives in the classroom where our high school students have class every day. See if I can adjust that a little bit. There we go. So this is Jim. He and his brother Dwight live here and help our high school students learn about behavior, and they get to train him and work with him every day. We also have a few other staff members on to help answer questions today. So we have, I'm going to introduce you guys whether you want me to or not. Amy Morris Hall is our Zoo Society Director. She was the last one you just saw in the video there. Dennis Laidler is the head of our education department, and then Megan Weidman is also part of our education department. And you'll notice I switched to wearing a mask because we do have to be really careful with all of the COVID protocols with our animals too, because some animals can actually get COVID. I'm not sure how high risk rats are. I don't know how much has been studied with that, but I know some of our species like ferrets and giant anteaters could potentially get COVID if we were not careful around them. So all of our staff wears masks anytime they're working around any of the animals as well.
Awesome.
So,
for our viewers, if you have questions and you're on the Zoom webinar, you can type them into the Q&A section. And if you're listening in on Facebook, you can type a question into the comments section. And I had one question come in. Sue wants to know if you compost the animal poop.
Right now, we don't compost most of the animal waste. We don't have a really good facility for doing that here. And some of it wouldn't be super appropriate, like carnivore waste is not as good for composting as herbivore. So.
And this is Amy Morris Hall. It is something that is on our long-term list of environmental issues to solve at Potter Park Zoo. So great question.
Yes, we are constantly working to improve our eco-friendly practices. Also, you'll notice I'm giving Jim a couple Cheerios here. Plain Cheerios are one of his favorite low-calorie treats that he gets as a reward for training and participating in events and things.
And then we have somebody that's listening in from Tucson, Arizona. So welcome,
Nice.
Michael. Yes. So in an average day, how much time is spent on training versus feeding and cleaning? And
That depends on the animal. Some of our animals get more training time than others. Usually they are getting a training session every day. Any other staff members, do you have an idea of a better answer to that question?
This is Amy again. I would say 10 to 20% of their time, and that is an estimate. It really depends on what other activities are happening at the zoo on any given day. They may be, you know, for example, today we've renovated our kangaroo exhibit and we're moving the kangaroos to a new location. So a lot of keeper time was spent on that project. But on another day, they may not have a major project, so they would spend more time on training. They do train every day. They train some behaviors. So it's really important that they keep up on the behaviors because it does help facilitate better husbandry and better veterinary care. So it's always a priority to them.
Awesome. And then Andrea has a question. What does Wayne the anteater eat, and do you grow him ants?
I can answer that, or Dennis can answer that. Are you there, Dennis?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, so Wayne there's actually companies that make a commercial insectivore diet, which is the base part of his because it has all the nutrition that he needs. They do hide, we don't raise ants, but we do raise or purchase actually things like mealworms and things that will hide out there. So the film talked about enrichment, and we'll do enrichment with that. And there are certain real pulpy, succulent fruits that he'll get as treats. So that's primarily, but yeah, the insectivore commercial diet is his core diet.
And this is Amy again. One of the fun things about Wayne is he really, really likes avocado. So that is a treat that they use for enrichment to encourage him to move from one location to another. And they have this really interesting glass tube that shows how long his tongue is, and they put the avocado at the bottom of the tube. So it's hilarious to watch Wayne inhale avocado. He likes it.
Do you know if we have a video of that on our Facebook anywhere, Amy?
I'm sure we do.
Okay.
Awesome. And then Sue has a question. Do you have cheetahs? And if so, did they come from the Fossil Rim Wildlife Center?
Unfortunately, we don't have cheetahs. They need a lot of space for running, and they need a lot of insulated winter holding areas because they're, an African species, and most African species don't really like our winters. So we do not have cheetahs at this time. We have a pride of lions, and we have a snow leopard, and we have a Pallas cat, but no cheetahs.
Just a personal question. The Pallas cat always looks like he's having a bad day or she's having a bad day. Is that just the way their faces look, or are they notorious?
They have super expressive faces, and they usually look very grumpy, occasionally very surprised, but usually very grumpy. So they're kind of a natural grumpy cat species.
Do you
that's a fun Google. If you look up Pallas cats and just check out all the fun facial expressions they have, it is a pretty big range.
Oh, and Ang wants to know, what is a Pallas cat?
So in the video, we saw one stretching. It is one of the smaller wildcat species, and they are very, very, very fluffy because they live in the mountains and so they have very thick fur to help keep them warm. I believe they live in the mountains, and they eat little tiny rodents.
This is Megan. They live in about a near habitat to the snow leopards. So they're over in Asia, and they'll have their litters of kittens can be a couple kittens up to about, I think 6 is the max. So we only have one Pallas cat at Potter Park Zoo, so no kittens in our future.
Do you ever have any trouble with like native animals that live in Lansing winding up in your zoo enclosures?
Oh, Dennis, please answer.
Yeah, I'll take this one. So there's some things that I think everybody's aware of. We have a gazillion squirrels and things like that, but sometimes we have issues. We're right along the Red Cedar River, so we have issues with raccoons coming in at night. Something that's helped a lot, we had a donation of several trail cameras, and we were able to put those up. And we've had red foxes, and we have a pair of gray foxes that like to go in at night and steal food that isn't eaten out of our eagle owl exhibit. We've had, you know, when the eagles first moved in and started nesting along the red cedar, it was right next to the zoo, and they would sit up in a tree above our bald eagle exhibit and scream at our bald eagles, kind of a territorial thing. We've had area red-tailed hawks do the same thing. Or where we have a red-tailed hawk that's used for presentations, and they did the same thing. So yeah, we have some challenges that way, but it's kind of fun most of the time.
Do you ever worry about a hawk coming in and getting some of your smaller animals? I was thinking like the mongoose or something like that.
Not so much. Great horned owls are much more apt to do that. Many, many years ago, probably about 15 years ago, in the winter, you know, we have the free-ranging peafowl, and they roost in some of the oak trees. And we had a wild great horned owl. We only know because we could see the marks in the snow, and we knew what made the marks in the snow, the wing marks. And it got a couple of our peafowl in the winter, couple of times, but it's been a long time. The thing that the animal is probably most vulnerable, small enough that we'd have to worry about that, would be the meerkats. But, you know, of course, in the wild, they have to worry about that too. And so they're almost always have at least one that's, as a sentinel, is on alert. So it's sort of natural enrichment to have that, as long as it doesn't get too tense.
Yeah, perfect. Well, I don't see any more questions, and we actually are right at a little over our time, but I thank you for partnering with the festival for these last few years, and hopefully next year we'll be able to do something live again. But just for our folks that are listening in now, is the zoo open and can people attend?
The zoo is open and people are welcome to come anytime that they want. We're open 364 days a year, other than the period of time that we were closed due to COVID and the stay-at-home order. The hours right now are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and we hope everybody can make it.
Awesome. And then we just did have one final question. They want to know if you have tigers.
So we had, unfortunately, our senior citizen geriatric tiger recently passed away. Savaki, he was born at the zoo, and he was a very, very old tiger. So we're still mourning the loss of Savaki. We are working on getting another tiger placed at our facility, and people should stay tuned to our social media and we will let them know how that's going.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for supporting the festival. Oh, somebody wants to know, do you still have tickets online? Do you still need to reserve tickets online?
Yes, you can come to the gate and buy a ticket, but we recommend reserving online because we are still limiting capacity, and we want to make sure that people are able to get into the zoo without a wait. So if you order tickets online, you have a much better chance at getting through the gate at your planned purchase time.
Awesome. Great. We hope to see everyone out at the zoo. It's a wonderful spot here in the Lansing area. It's beautiful scenery going into the zoo along the river. And then once you get inside, it's really a wonderful place to explore. So thank you again. And we do have a couple other programs this evening. So you can check those out at sciencefestival.msu.edu. And then we have 2 other nights this week before the festival ends. So thanks again, everyone at the zoo. Have a good night.
Thank you.
You too.